let's continue the conversation about that pipeline.
Yes, ma'am.
I understand that there is now a pre-apprenticeship program in teaching through our CTEs for high school students.
Ma'am.
Have you promulgated those regulations?
I know it's in the proposal. I'll move over to Angela on this one.
Yeah, so that was part of Act 55 last year, and we have completed the work that was statutorily required to create the program for teacher preparation. That will be able to be offered by school districts in 2023.
Great. We know that when students don't know a career exists or see it as a viable pathway, they choose not to go down it. We've had the Auditor General here. He's pushing in to high schools and colleges to talk to students early in their career to think about becoming an auditor, majoring in finance or accounting, and building his bench. So I think this will be an important way to build that future bench of educators. Additionally, my understanding is that teaching has become a nationally registered apprenticeship program in 2021. Can you talk to me about any steps PD has taken to become involved with that federal program and apply for those federal grants to support existing teacher apprenticeship programs or create new programs, people who are looking at an alternative route into the career of being an educator?
I appreciate that, Senator. I will have to verify if we've done any engagement in that federal work, but I do want to point out that the governor's proposal includes money within the Department of Labor and Industry to work in the apprenticeship field. I think it's $3 million to increase apprenticeships. And
now, is that for apprenticeships in education? Because I would think that those apprenticeships would come through your department.
So we have worked with the Department of Labor and Industry, over the years, especially in this workforce over the last year, to address workforce issues.
Apprenticeships.
So I'm going to look and tell you exactly, because it is a labor and industry, but it is apprenticeships for career and technical education teachers to get people from the fields that they might be working in a technical field who want to be career and technical educators. Because we need teachers in that field.
Well, we certainly do. We need teachers in career and technical fields as well as general education fields. I just want to make sure when we're talking about large sums of money to incentivize individuals to go into the profession that we're not leaving any federal dollars on the table. I think that's really important to consider. As we're looking at this budget, and when I'm looking at your funding levels and the increase that you are hoping to achieve, I think it's imperative that we don't leave any of those dollars on the table. Additionally, I want to follow up on, I believe it was the line of questioning that you had with the gentleman from Delaware County with regard to school districts spending federal ESSER funds for environmental remediation projects. And am I correct that you have not quantified fully the amount of environmental remediation projects necessary here in the Commonwealth?
No, I used the term earlier in regards to the environmental justice areas. And so we have data in regards to the number of schools that would meet the criteria thus far. You want to go into the dollars a little bit more?
You're talking about specifically for the use of the ESSER dollars?
Yes.
Okay. We do have some preliminary data, and I say preliminary because we have schools revising applications right now. So they submitted applications last year, kind of worked through some planning and things, and now they're making some changes and revert, kind of looking at how much time is on the grant. So about 9.5% of the ARP ESSER dollars, and that's an estimate, has been, kind of budgeted for HVAC or environmental repairs.
So that doesn't quantify the number of projects. And the reason I ask, and I think it's interesting that they're revising, because what we are hearing is that those funds budgeted for environmental remediation projects are not being completed because the funds available are exceeding the market's capacity to undertake those projects. So the concern is, will you be asking for, or do you have any insight on the deadline for the expenditure of those federal ESSER funds? Will they be extended? Because you have $100 million in your budget for matching grants for those environmental improvement capital projects. Are we seeing delays? Is that the result of what you just stated?
Some schools are changing the scope of their projects because of construction, supply chain delays, things like that. In terms of the number of projects, I can get that for you. I don't have that data in front of me right now. And in, what was your, there was another question in there, I apologize.
Well, do you believe the projects will be delayed? And are you looking at requesting an extension so that those federal dollars can be fully utilized?
Yeah, they expire on September 30th of 2024, our BESSER does. And the USD has not officially provided guidance on extension of obligations yet on ARP ESSER, but we do expect to hear something here. So if and when that happens, we do plan to extend that to our LEAs, as we did with ESSER 1.
Well, that would be helpful. Again, we don't want to leave federal dollars on the table when they're there to be expended and then turn around and ask state taxpayers to fill the void on those projects. So I thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.